Hello, my name is Lucas Van Nest, and today I will be discussing supply chain management. As simple as its name sounds, this method of collecting consumer data is extremely crucial for businesses' success. Today, many businesses are thriving from using this method, and here's why. But before I continue, here's a brief overview of what the presentation will consist of. First, we'll discuss what supply chain management, or SCM for short, is. I'll discuss the history of its origins and the era it has been through, and the three main flows it consists of, and the pros and cons that come with it. So what is supply chain management? Supply chain management is the oversight of information, financing, and the flow of goods and services. Interlinked networks are involved in providing products or services required by consumers. Supply chain management has also been defined as monitoring, planning, design, and control of supply chain activities, which basically describes that SCM oversees the whole process of where the good or service is manufactured to where it is finally consumed. Now on to its history. Its history consists of 5 different eras. First, the creation era. In 1982, Keith Oliver coined the term supply chain management. Characteristics of this era include the need for large-scale changes, downsizing driven by cost reduction programs, and widespread attention to Japanese movement practices. Later, the term was widely adopted after Robert B. Hanfield's book, Supply Chain Management. Next is the integration era, which expanded widely prior to the 21st century with the introduction of the internet. This era of supply chain management can be characterized by both increasing value and cost reductions through web-based integration, therefore using web-based networking systems to collect consumer data. Following the integration era is the globalization era. This era focused on forming consumer relationships, but not just consumer relationships, supplier relationships as well. At this point in time, companies began searching for suppliers beyond national boundaries, also known as outsourcing. This era's goal was to increase their competitive advantage over others and to reduce costs through global outsourcing. Next comes the first phase of the specialization era. This era focused more on, quote, core competencies, which means that companies began to abandon their vertical integration techniques and outsource the majority of their function to international suppliers. This, in turn, created collaborative international production. The second phase of the specialization era focused primarily on supply chain management as a service. What this means is that the inception of transportation brokerages, warehouse management, and non-asset-based carriers have manufactured beyond the transportation and into logistics into the aspects of supply planning, collaboration, execution, and performance management. Supply chain management has 3 main flows to its operation, in no specific order: product flow, information flow, and finance flow. All these flows are crucial for companies to gather data regarding oversight of their goods and services. First is the product flow. It is as simple as it sounds. The product flow is described as any transaction that the supplier and consumer make together. To put it simply, it's like if one were to walk into a store and make a purchase of milk and eggs. The supplier that manufactured those products has just made a collaboration with the consumer. Same works for online shopping as well, just through a web-based system. Next is the information flow. This flow focuses on giving information regarding the order to both the consumer and the supplier. For the consumer, this can be the point of the purchase when an outside third party is transporting the good where the consumer can track its whereabouts. Same goes for the supplier, as well, to make sure the product made it to its correct consumer safely. Lastly is the finance flow. The finance flow works with credit terms and payment schedules regarding the product or service. The financial flow of supply chain management is typically sees thousands of invoices of payments a year in a given year. Therefore, this is an extremely important cog in the machine. of supply chain management. Next, we're going to move to the advantages that the supply chain management consists of. Advantages include reduced costs, production, decreased risk of information being tampered or lost, increased efficiency in production, and technological innovations with time. First and foremost, supply chain management reduces transaction costs a great deal. According to Polensky in 1998, networking in supply chain has the potential to reduce transaction costs, lead to internal economy of scale through innovation, and help to form external economy of scale through cooperation. Next comes decreased risks. It is not uncommon for supply chain data to be tampered with or lost. Also, the risk and uncertainty of the changing external market environment can be greatly reduced through insurance of quantity and quality supplied, sharing assets, and trust and risk sharing of products. Moving further, supply chain management also increases efficiency. The information exchange and the material flow collected by specialized firms throughout the supply chain series can increase the efficiency of the movement of the product or products. Lastly, with supply chain management comes technological advances. In today's society, everything is becoming obsolete at the snap of a finger. Ongoing technological innovation is able to meet the market's needs and can be achieved from cooperation research and development, employee training, and flexible specialization among firms. Next, we'll switch over to the disadvantage of supply chain management. The bullwhip phenomenon tendency is a tendency of consumers of material or product in a short supply to buy more than they need in the immediate future, also known as the overconsumption of a product. This can lead to either inefficient production or excessive inventory. As we come to an end of the presentation, I'm going to take you back through the main points we discussed. We discussed what supply chain management is and how it is used in society today. We discussed the history of supply chain management and its 5 different eras. We went over the 3 main flows that supply chain management is centered around. And lastly, we went over the advantages and disadvantages of supply chain management. Supply chain management is continuing to grow due to its benefits in a wide array of areas. SCM reduces costs of other traditional methods of collecting data. It decreases risk against fraud. It is more efficient, and its technological innovation continues to follow with the flow of how modern technology is evolving. Thank you for listening.